gotta backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. Ask me though how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give me something you can talk about.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine Sunday, February 15th? I am clocking in for my daily Nancy Guthrie shift. And I see y'all are too. Thank you so much. Did we get it? I wanted it to be at 50 likes by the time we started, just to see. Let me see if it worked. Also, breaking news. There have been a few breaks in this case this morning, all of them having to do with, oh yeah, we're way beyond 50. Okay, shout out to y'all. All of them having to do with DNA. Okay. So when I woke up this morning, right now it's 2:01 p.m. Eastern, so it's about noon over there in Tucson, 12:01. And this morning when I woke up and did my daily, morning ritual of checking in on if anything happened overnight, did any arrests get made, did any identities, any suspects, any persons of interest? I mean, we're doing like basically Groundhog Day at this point. It's week 3. Since poor Nancy has been apparently snatched up out of her bed while she was peacefully slumbering. But this morning when I woke up, what I saw on the news was, or excuse me, I don't watch the news, but read in the tabloids or in the news and whatever, was that the FBI was waiting to get these gloves back from the private Florida, what's it called? The private Florida coroner, medical examiner, autopsy, whatever, that person. It was like a lab over there. Yeah, that's what it is. Not that person. It was a lab. It's like the place where they send their stuff to get it tested. Okay. So it was like this morning I woke up and it was like what was being said was, oh, feds are just basically twiddling their thumbs, waiting for some DNA or some evidence to be tested at this lab. Okay. So that was like the main news. We're going to read some stories and some articles most likely to that effect. Because I do kind of like save the articles up all day or whatever. Yeah, we're good, but still like the video. You're funny, Amber. But now we have some more kind of like breaking news. So I'm going to start in that order. I'm going to go there first to the breaking news, and then we may kind of like reverse, backtrack, or whatever. Okay, Nancy Guthrie gloves. Yes. Okay. So this is the local Fox channel, I think. Yeah, Tampa Bay. So this is not local. But I have Florida on my mind because that's where the lab is. And apparently also, according to like Daily Mail, Savannah Guthrie's husband landed in Florida yesterday on a plane with their kids, or 2 of them. I don't know how many they got. Nancy Guthrie glove found with DNA appears to match the suspect's glove in the surveillance video. Piedmont County, Arizona, an FBI spokesperson told Fox News today that out of several gloves that were recovered during the search for Nancy, one glove appears to match the gloves of the suspect seen on the surveillance footage. It's now, right now, as we speak, at the time of the recording of this live, it is being tested as we speak. It's sitting somewhere in a little petri dish simmering. Okay. Now these are the gloves in question. So apparently there's one such glove in the possession of this, I think, supposed lab. Let's read further. The update comes on the 15th day of the investigation into the Tucson area woman's disappearance. 5 days ago, the FBI released recovered Nest camera footage from the Guthrie's Catalina Foothills home. From Nancy Guthrie's Catalina Foothills home, and it showed a masked man approaching her front door before trying to cover the camera with leaves. Investigators are waiting for final lab results before uploading the DNA profile. Okay. They're waiting for final lab results, and then they're going to upload the DNA profile to a national database to possibly identify the individual. Okay. Again, breaking news, an FBI spokesperson says a glove with DNA recovered from the Nancy Guthrie case. It's different than all the other gloves that have been found. It appears to match the gloves of the subject seen in the surveillance video. The way they wrote that is abysmal. But they found a glove somewhere out there in the world. And it's not just a regular old glove from like, the searchers or anything. No, this is like a glove like this. It's different than the other gloves. They found a bunch of gloves, remember? There's one glove that is different. That's what we're reading here. Now, the details may get clearer as we move forward, but this is our starting point. There's a glove that was found, and it appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. That glove also has DNA on it. Not only does the glove have DNA on it, it doesn't match any of the other, profiles. It does appear to be an actually different DNA profile. And it is still kind of in the final testing stages, because when they're running DNA tests and stuff, or when they're running, DNA tests, there's all kinds of steps to the process. So there could be a time in the process where you're like, yeah, this is a different DNA profile, because you can tell, for example, maybe it's a male, and previously all you've ever looked at were the female DNA was female DNA, because in cisgender, female is 2X chromosomes. So you can kind of see that within the genetic material. But then if it has a Y chromosome, then there's at least some male DNA on this item. But then you have to run other tests to finally get to the bottom of like, whose DNA does this match within an area of confidence? I don't know what the area is. It's like a very small percentage. Okay, the backstory, Pima County Sheriff says it appears that Nancy was taken. She's the mother of the Today Show host, Savannah Guthrie. Okay, what in the hell? All right. So let's go to the live updates from CNN and see if we can get some more details. Okay. Let's go back. I do want to talk about this. Arizona lawmaker blasting true crime investigators. I have a tweet about it. This is very interesting. Okay, so let's start here 5.5 hours ago. Experts say tips from the public. Tips from who? The public could crack the Nancy Guthrie case. Okay, so I'm not going to read the article, but tips and experts are saying that it's the public giving tips. That's what's going to, or maybe, crack the Nancy Guthrie case. It's very important for the public to give our tips in the case. Okay, 5.5 hours ago on CNN. 3 hours, 11 minutes ago, authorities request neighbors' video in search for Nancy Guthrie. We already knew that. No news conference 4 hours, 20 minutes ago. No news conference is planned in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, according to the sheriff's department. There are no news conferences. The last one they did was on February 5th. Today is the 15th. That was 10 days ago. Now, we're going to read this headline and I'm going to come back to it because I want to do a fuller, section of the video on this. Arizona lawmaker blasts true crime investigators or live streamers covering Nancy Guthrie case. And she says, go home. Okay, just recall, experts are saying tips from the public could crack the case. Okay. So it's almost like the lawmakers over there in Arizona, like actually just want everybody that lives there to die. That's the only, if they're in a death cult is the only thing that makes sense to me. Okay. But we'll get back to that in a later section of the video. What we know about the suspect. Okay. 17 minutes ago, we read that and we do have another update. Hold on. Did we read that? Glove found near Guthrie's home appears to match those of the suspect in the doorbell cam. Okay, yeah, no, we didn't read this. Okay, so here is Nancy Guthrie's home from the aerial view. There's that pool they're so worried about. More worried about the pool than getting their mom home, it seems. A glove found near missing 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's home. Watch it end up being that exact glove that the New York, what was it? The New York Post saw people picking up. Watch it be that glove. That's going to be so funny. A glove found near the missing 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's home appears to match those gloves that were worn by the suspect recorded in the doorbell camera footage outside her home the morning she disappeared. So it appears that the gloves actually match the visually. They appeared to be the same gloves. The gloves, which contain DNA, was one of approximately 16 gloves. Okay, so y'all, breaking news update as of 17 minutes ago, CNN, there were approximately 16 gloves total. So there's like, oh, a glove here and a glove there, here a glove everywhere, a glove. Okay, 16. Most of them, the FBI said, belonged to searchers who discarded their gloves while working in the area. So they littering. So the FBI and the or the Pima County sheriffs are littering and contaminating the whole city of the crime scene, and they're picking them up, and we're having to see, oh no, these are our gloves. Okay, good to know. Great. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different and appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. This is what the FBI said in a statement today as the search continues. So I don't know where this statement is, because I went to Twitter, and the Twitter, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that on their Twitter. It doesn't have it on Kash Patel's Twitter. I don't know where this official statement even is, but they are citing, CNN is citing a statement from the FBI, and so is News Nation. FBI statement appears to indicate, so I don't know where that statement is, but they're citing it, CNN and News Nation and Fox. FBI statement appears to indicate the suspected match is based on a visual comparison of the gloves rather than forensic testing. CNN has reached out to the FBI to clarify. The FBI is awaiting final test results from the glove. The agency said, adding that the process usually takes 24 hours. So they do give a little bit of a breakdown, like what does this mean by one of their little supposed experts. So let's look into that analysis, what the discovery of new glove evidence could mean for the Nancy Guthrie investigation. In a significant development, the FBI said today, investigators have located a glove near Nancy Guthrie's home that appears to visually match gloves worn by a suspect seen on doorbell camera video at the home. The FBI says DNA from the glove is being analyzed to determine the identity of a possible suspect. A first step for investigators when obtaining DNA evidence is to run it through criminal databases to determine if it matches a known criminal. As part of a burgeon, and that's why it's kind of like once your DNA is in a system, whether it be for criminal or whether it be because you just voluntarily gave it up, then they have it there, including the ancestry.com. That's how they found Brian Koberger. Is they found his some DNA somewhere, and then they ran it and checked it against the ancestry.com, 23andMe, one of them two, genetic, what's it called, ancestry.com, whoever it freaking is. Okay, the database from a private ancestry check, you were trying to see if you were Norwegian or Scottish or Irish or whatever, and they got your in a database. Now, if you're doing horrible crimes, then maybe you should be in the database. But this is not like, let's say there's DNA on this glove, somebody's gardening glove. It just happens to be there. Now they have their DNA in some database, and then they're going to get smeared all over the news. They're going to get dragged from here to there and everywhere. Their picture going to be shown. Everybody's going to know how tall they are, going to know if they have a wife, if they don't, all because they did a stupid whatever test or whatever. So it's things like that. And it's like, these are the things like I think of when I'm like, y'all better cremate me. Because when I'm gone, I don't want anybody using my DNA for anything, because the stuff gets leaked. It's real. It really does. Like, there was like a menstrual, like a period tracker app. All the data got leaked. People tracking in all kind of personal stuff. Uh-uh. Nope. Anyway, so this isn't talking about 23andMe. This isn't talking about Ancestry.com. This is actually just talking about the criminal database. So a first step for investigators when obtaining DNA evidence is to run it through the criminal database, see if it matches anybody in there. If not, then this person's not a known criminal, or at least their DNA hasn't been taken. As part of a burgeoning field known as it's burgeoning because y'all keep sending y'all saliva off for testing and stuff. Burgeoning field known as investigative genetic genealogy. Authorities would also likely be submitting the evidence to third-party DNA mapping services offered to the general public. Even if the suspect has never used one of these services, a family member might have. This can provide clues to the suspect's identity based on the unique nature of family DNA profiling. Familial DNA was a critical, I hadn't even read this yet. But it's common knowledge at this point for anyone who's even tangentially in these worlds, in these places. Familial DNA was critical, a critical tool used by police in the Brian Koberger case, who was convicted of killing I think he pled guilty, but that is convicted of killing 4 Idaho college students. Beyond DNA testing, if the recovered glove is determined to belong to the suspect seen at the Guthrie home, the location where it was found could be the most important clue yet, suggesting his route of travel after her suspected abduction. Okay, this is a problem for me. Why? Because it says if the recovered glove is determined to belong to the suspect seen at Guthrie's home, the location where it was found could be the most important clue yet, suggesting his route of travel. How on earth, unless they know something we don't, would the recovered glove be determined to belong to the suspect at Nancy Guthrie's home? If it's determined to belong to the suspect seen at Nancy Guthrie's home, how could they determine that? They going to get a psychic? Unless they somehow have some other DNA, maybe from the Ring doorbell bracket. They took that bracket. The FBI or some investigators took the mount for the Nest doorbell camera off. They unscrewed it from the house. The camera had already been taken. It was missing whenever the cops showed up on the scene, but the bracket was still in place on the house. The other day, remember, I put a one in the chat. Remember that when they came through and put up a big old white tent for a couple hours, an hour or whatever, and then I have to cover y'all's chat up. I get so distracted. And okay, so after they took the white tent down, there was no more mount. There was no more Ring Nest camera mount on the wall, on the house. So that means investigators, authorities, cops, whoever you want to call it, FBI, took it. They unscrewed it off the house and took it. Why? Maybe to get it tested for DNA. I don't know. Maybe to get it tested for fingerprints. I don't know. Can't you dust for fingerprints right there at the scene? Why'd they take it? I don't know. Maybe somebody wanted it for their gun cabinet. Maybe somebody wanted it as a trophy. I don't know. But one possible reason that comes to my mind is that why would that would be irresponsible and actually stupid if they didn't test it for DNA. Now, how long does DNA stay on a doorbell camera mount when it's outside in the heat of Arizona, when there's been people coming up and down, back and forth to the house? How many people have touched it? These things, come to mind as questions. However, let's say they did take it. Let's say they did take that thing down to test it for DNA. And what if there's DNA on that thing? That's one possible way. It could be determined to belong to the suspect at the Guthrie house. I don't know. That's just one possible way. Okay, so this is, is there a reader view that I can do here? No, I need to get on the Safari. The stupid CNN was trying to charge me money. They're like, you used all your free articles. So I'm in a different browser, but I'm not like signed into this browser. So it's like, I'm not used to dealing with this browser type either. Okay, so anyway, we're just gonna push through. I can't be bothered to buy another freaking subscription, y'all. Oh my God. Can you even imagine having to buy another subscription just to read the news? No, thank you. I can't. Oh, I just can't. FBI glove with DNA appears to match gloves of suspect in the Guthrie video. Now, we did already read a couple articles about this, so I am going to skim here, just see if they have anything new, anything worded in a different way where we can get some more information than we've already gotten. The FBI received preliminary results on Saturday from gloves. So yesterday, preliminary results. Okay, this is kind of like a new way to put it. The FBI received preliminary results on Saturday, yesterday, from gloves found approximately 2 miles from the home of missing 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Now, first of all, let's stop there. They also said they found approximately 16 gloves. So there's a lot of things that could be approximately 2 miles away. So I don't think we should like jump to conclusions and assume that was like the specific one glove that was advertised in the news as being found. There's no fingerprinting dust on the front door, but there should be. Yes, I know that they took the Ring doorbell. I'm talking about the mount on the wall. Okay. So FBI received the preliminary results yesterday. These gloves are found 2 miles from the home of Nancy. We don't know which gloves it is. I am not confident to say, oh yeah, it was that one we saw a picture of, or anything like that. The agency, an FBI spokesperson tells News Nation that one of the recovered gloves with a DNA profile appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. Okay, so one glove has a DNA profile and it matches the gloves of the suspect in the surveillance video. It's just one glove, it's not the pair. The agency is now awaiting quality control and official confirmation before putting the unknown male profile into CODIS, which is the national database unique to the Bureau. So look, they have a national database, all right, with all of our information in it, okay? And they use it just as soon as they want to. According to the FBI spokesperson, this process typically takes 24 hours from when the Bureau receives the DNA. So they found this out yesterday. They received the preliminary results yesterday from the gloves. And this process usually takes 24 hours from when the Bureau receives the DNA. In total, investigators have collected 16 gloves from areas near the house. I wonder if this is that same glove they were fighting over. Because if it only takes the FBI's lab 24 total hours about this glove, like about to test, that's probably why they were like all in the news yesterday and the day before, like there's a clash between the sheriff and the FBI because he wanted to send it to a private Florida lab and that was going to waste time. And it was like this one specific glove they were mad about. And I do wonder, is it this glove? And is that why the FBI told the sheriff to wait? Remember, it was like the sheriff is going to have the news conference or a news release soon. And then it was like, but due to the FBI telling us not to, I wonder if it's this glove. And it's like the FBI wanted to be the one to confirm it or whatever. Last Ronan said the FBI is so much faster. I don't know, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. I mean, I really don't know. The FBI has and will continue to provide assistance on whatever timeline is provided to us. This process usually takes 24 hours from when the Bureau receives the DNA. They collected at least 16 gloves from areas near the house. The agency notes most of them belong to the searchers. Oh, excuse me. The FBI has and will continue to provide assistance on whatever timeline is provided to us. A man being described as being between 5'9 and 5'10 was seen on doorbell footage at Guthrie's home wearing gloves and using them to cover the camera, then dismantling it the night she went missing. She was last seen at January 31st. Okay, so that was one article, and this is kind of like this breaking. So let me just search breaking news or live. One minute ago. I also have my line items list, but I wanted to start with the breaking news first. Okay, 32 minutes ago, glove found near Nancy Guthrie's home appears to match those worn by suspect in doorbell camera video. A glove. Again, this is just kind of like reading the same news, but from different sources. I think all these traditional news sources get the same little press release to them. And then this is them kind of saying like, oh, this is what we heard. So that's why they all kind of sound the same, or similar rather, but then you can kind of get different impressions from different ones based on how they are kind of paraphrasing it. So this is 32 minutes ago from Yahoo News. Kate Murphy, she said, glove found near Nancy Guthrie's home appears to match those worn by suspect in doorbell camera video. A glove found near Nancy's home within a 2-mile radius, they said, appears to match the gloves worn by the masked person seen in the FBI released doorbell camera footage, according to multiple news outlets that cited the FBI. The glove, which contained DNA, was one of several that investigators found while searching near her home. Most of the gloves belonged to searchers who had discarded them while working in the area, were to write them a ticket for littering. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different and appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. This was a statement from the FBI, and they are waiting on their final test results for the glove. Shout out to Linux, the object thingy, becoming a new member. Thank you, Abby, as well. Abby M87 becoming a member. Thank you to Starlight and Hayes 348 becoming a member. Thank you so much to Cat Black for the $2 super chat. She said the flashlight in his mouth. Maybe that dripped saliva. Could have. I mean, I have been thinking about that flashlight in the mouth because, even if he just or she took the flashlight out of the mouth with that with any one of those gloved hands and touched it, then it has your DNA on it or that person's DNA on it. So it's like, now what if that glove touches that glove? If that glove touches something else, you could put DNA all over the place. So putting something in one's mouth is probably not the smartest way to move about a crime scene if you're trying not to get caught and leave DNA anywhere. Thank you for the $2. That's a great point. Okay. Anybody in here just arguing? I'm banning you. This is not the place. This is not the place. You can go argue about shit anywhere else on the whole internet. Literally anywhere else. You can go fight and argue. We're not doing that here. This is not a place. This is not a forum for go to Reddit. Go to Reddit for that. Okay. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Because it creates the reason why is I love free speech, but this right here isn't. No, I have a responsibility over the vibe and the mood and the atmosphere of my platform. This is my channel. And I don't want people to come here and they're just looking at the comment in the live chat and they feel like, okay, no, this isn't the place for me because people don't know how to act. Because I wouldn't blame them if I just let some of y'all run wild and free. That's why sometimes I make it to where you got to be a subscriber for a week or something before you can even comment in my live chat. And y'all can go argue about stuff and talk down to people somewhere else. It's not welcome. You're not welcome here doing that. Thank you. Reddit is just for that. Go over there and argue with bots. Anyway. Authorities attempt to detect Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker using a signal sniffer. I think this is such a non-story. It just doesn't work. Steve Fisher Investigates did say something about it, so we will get to that. It has worked in the past, I guess, but it doesn't seem, I don't know, it doesn't seem, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, highly effective. All right, so let me leave out of here, and then I have to go back to I have to go back to my other browser. This other one, I feel like it's handicapping me, like I can't function with it. Okay, so here's some outstanding questions. This is from yesterday. I copied this tweet down so I could show it to y'all. I don't know who this guy is, but he is big in following the Nancy Guthrie case. And he said, here's some Nancy Guthrie case unanswered questions. And I thought that this list was really good. We could kind of like reconvene here around these questions. Why did the sheriff speak to Mark Kelly before he called the FBI? And why did Savannah Guthrie call Mark Kelly before she called the cops? Why did Sheriff Nanos delay calling the FBI in? That could be easily explained too, y'all. I'm not even trying to say something's bad or wrong with it. It is just an outstanding question. I'm just curious. Why won't police say who it was who dropped off Nancy? I thought they said it was Tommaso, but it's hard to keep up with like exactly where the sources of stuff was, like where information came from, what sources or which sources certain information came from. Like, I thought it was said. I guess we need to go back and watch. Put a 2 in the chat if you would be interested one day in just going back and watching the press conferences that he has done. Since doesn't want to do any new ones, we could compare what's been said in the other ones. Why won't the police say who dropped off Nancy? I thought they did. Maybe they didn't. Thought it was Tommaso. Why won't they answer if the family is cleared? Why? Well, I guess you don't clear anybody until you have a suspect or a subject or whatever. Why won't they say how the suspect entered the home? That's a great question. They won't even say if it was forced entry. Why did they not secure the crime scene with tape for a long enough time? Why is the crime scene still not secure? Why can't they confirm or deny ransom notes? And why won't they do any press conferences? I mean, these are all great questions. All great questions. So those are some outstanding questions. Now, this was an update that came to this Fox News reporter, Michael Ruiz, 2 hours ago. Sheriff Nanos has given a timeline for DNA testing, which he says can take up to 10 days to come back from his registered lab in Florida. So results should be imminent. Okay, so this is interesting because we're getting all this reporting that once the FBI has something, it's 24-hour turnaround. But Nanos wanted to send it to this podunk 10-day ass lab in Florida. Girl, why? Now I see. And that's why Nancy Guthrie believed to have been abducted 2:30 a.m. on February 1st. So that's why I tweeted this. I said, okay, so this is why we're getting reports of FBI being upset that this Florida lab is wasting time when compared to the Quantico lab, 24 hours versus up to 10 days. Oh. Now, to this Florida lab's defense or credit or whatever, I mean, I don't even know which one it is or whatever, but to their defense, to their credit, we don't know how long it's going to take them. They might expedite this thing. They might get pressure from the feds to expedite this thing. The feds might go pick that glove up. Who knows? Sheriff Nanos has given a timeline for DNA testing, which he says can take up to 10 days. I said, this is why we're getting reports of the FBI being upset that this Florida lab is wasting time, because when you compare it to that Quantico lab, that's wild. Thanks so much to Meg for the $2 super chat. Yes, I will wish Robert a happy birthday from Megan. Happy birthday to Robert. Love that. So close to Valentine's Day. Love you, Mina K. Bye. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you so much to the Mandy for the Mandy F for the $10 super chat. Thanks, BJ. Working hard. You're my go-to for anything and everything going on of public interest. Thank you. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. Okay, I needed to send a text message. Sorry. Shout out to the Mandy F becoming a member. Thank you. Okay, let me move on to my next line item. It says major update, but it may be something we already read. Let me just see. Okay. Takeaways. Pima County deputies found a lot of gloves, but at least one set. Okay, so he's saying set, but that is the only place I'm seeing set. Everywhere else, it's one glove. It's not a pair. It's not a set. It's one. But he's saying set. So it could be that we're just getting a little bit different information from different sources. That's why I like to read a lot of different sources. Pima deputies found a lot of gloves, but at least one, maybe a set, maybe one glove only, is believed to potentially match the ones worn by the suspect on Nancy Guthrie's porch. The crime lab was able to recover DNA profile from it. CODIS results expected within a day. Let me see if he had anything else. Okay, I want to read his interpretation of it because, like I said, I do believe that they all kind of get like one blasted press release and they don't just like copy paste it and send it out. They kind of transcribe it, but this looks like full quotes. So, wow, this is so detailed. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, this is way more detail. This is where we need to do the clip this. Okay. Just in 2 hours ago regarding Nancy Guthrie, FBI spokesperson tells Fox News Digital the following, quote, the gloves found it's two gloves. The gloves found approximately 2 miles from the Guthrie residence in a field near the side of the road were packaged up by the sheriff's department and sent overnight on February 12th. And they arrived at their private lab in Florida on February 13th. That was 2 days ago when they arrived there. This is very big news because this is right around the time when it started to be reported that the feds and the sheriff were at odds because the feds were saying sending things to this private Florida lab is slowing them down. The quote goes on. The FBI received preliminary results yesterday on 2/14 and are awaiting quality control and official confirmation today before putting unknown male profile into CODIS, the national database unique to the Bureau. This process typically takes 24 hours from when the Bureau receives DNA. So they got the preliminary results yesterday. I don't know. What does that mean? Did they get just results yesterday? I guess once they get the results, they can run it through their thing. I don't really know. It's hard for me to tell what the FBI has everything, right? They have labs, they have database, they have everything. So it's hard to know what they're talking about exactly whenever they're saying they received preliminary results. Is that just like data results or did you receive the DNA yourself too? They're waiting for quality control and official confirmation today. So they're expecting official confirmation today. Then they're going to put that DNA into, this should have been the news release. They should have just said this. It took us 38 minutes to get to this. Is the most comprehensive. I want to start over. This is so good. Clip this. Just in regarding Nancy Guthrie. FBI spokesperson tells the following, quote, the gloves found approximately 2 miles, gloves, that means 2, found approximately 2 miles from the Guthrie residence in a field near the side of the road. Is that the one the Post found that there's pictures of? It was just right there on the side of the road. And sent overnight, or maybe that was a decoy glove because they did find one in a field. And then they threw another glove somewhere so somebody else could find it. Anything's possible, girl. I don't know. The gloves found approximately 2 miles from the Guthrie residence in a field near the side of the road were packaged up by PCSD and sent overnight on the 12th. They arrived at the private lab in Florida on the 13th. The FBI received preliminary results yesterday on February 14th and are awaiting quality control and official confirmation today before putting this DNA into CODIS. That's their database that the FBI has. This process usually takes 24 hours. So today they should be able to confirm it. Investigators collected approximately 16 gloves in various areas near the house. Most of them were searchers' gloves that they discarded in various areas when they searched the vicinity. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different and appears to match the glove of the subject in the surveillance video. The FBI has and will continue to provide assistance on whatever timeline is provided to us. He has more detail here, or he points out what he thinks is the key. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different and appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. That's huge. Sheriff Nanos had given the timeline for DNA testing being 10 days, but they're apparently moving on a 1-day basis. Now the FBI has it. A lot of people use those type of gloves. Exactly, y'all. Exactly, y'all. A lot of people use those type of gloves. Construction people, plumbers. I have similar gloves in my garage right now, Christina said. That's a good point. But this is a big break in the case that there even was a glove at all. They find in gloves in a field before they find in Nancy Guthrie. Okay, I mean, where is Nancy? Where is Nancy? Okay, so let me go to my next line item. This is theories about the mother and the son. It's like old news at this point from 2 days ago, but a mother and a son, a mother and 2 males detained. I wonder if she was the housekeeper for Nancy or she was a caretaker for Nancy after the kidnapping. I don't know how she would be a caretaker for Nancy after the kidnapping. That would be crazy. I remember why I wanted to put this in here. I wanted to just show y'all. People are starting to speculate because it's like, where's Nancy? People are starting to speculate. She was a caretaker for Nancy after the kidnapping. The entire thing stinks from the owner of the house being deputy sheriff, which apparently has supposedly allegedly been debunked. I don't know. I didn't look into it yet myself. There's just been so much other stuff going on. To everyone being so quiet on everything. The entire thing is a clown show. Unlike we have ever seen in this country. I don't know about that, girl. I mean, there's clown shows as far as the eye can see over here. Then I got a few tips or a few like theories from y'all. So let me click on this. This is actually okay. So remember when I was like, yesterday we were talking about that East Orange Grove Road and the Home Depot being right there by like First Avenue, North First or whatever it was, Northeast First Avenue. And there was that guy who went up to JLR Investigates during his live stream. And he was like, oh, I've been watching you. I want to give you some tips. I got the exclusive tea for you or whatever. And the guy was like, I was over there by the Home Depot and they were searching the grass. He was like, they were searching the grass all by there, the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, da-da-da-da-da. And JLR Investigates was like, where is the address? Like, what is the exact address? Because I'm going over there. And he kept saying it was by the Home Depot. It was by the Home Depot. And he ended up saying, like, put a 3 in the chat if you remember me saying that. The whole Home Depot and the guy giving the tip, the supposed tip, the lead to JLR. Put a 2 in the chat if you remember that. So somebody sent me this information and they were like, could this be related to the Home Depot? So this is one of those scanner apps. A lot of people or websites, a lot of people have been, listening to these. the apps or the scanners, the dispatch scanners, the police radio. A lot of people have been listening to different channels of these around the Tucson area to try to see if they can get any leads and information. And so she sent me this, and this was apparently the Tucson police dispatch yesterday.
Level 21. Can you let me know for obviously, please?
Go ahead.
5403. I'll be at 4302 North Oracle until 1800.
Okay, 30. What did he say? 4302 North Oracle until about 1800. Well, when you type in 4302 North Oracle Road, Tucson, Arizona. Oh, not AX, AZ, girl. Guess what comes up? The Home Depot right there. Now, this could be nothing. This could just be a guy on the dispatch saying, hey, I got duty at the Home Depot today. Could just be that. But I did think it was interesting that, the people did pick that up on the scanners as it came through. And she did piece it together like, that's the Home Depot. So that was interesting. I don't know if that'll turn into anything. Probably not, but cool to know. I would be interested in a person said they recently sold a Range Rover. Somebody sent in a tip. It was Crystal. She said, I would be interested in what more the person who said they recently sold the Range Rover had to say. Yeah, apparently someone recently said that they had sold that exact Range Rover. That was their Range Rover, and then they sold it. What is placed on at a dealership before the plate is received? I took a picture from a live stream. Okay, I do have those pictures. I want to pull those up later. Let's first go into Steve Fisher, but I want to move on to the other stuff, and I want to circle back around to that because I have to pull them up, and it's like I have to get off the screen. I just want to get some momentum going here. No, I did not say that. Okay. So Steve Fisher investigates. He tweets this yesterday, and he says, release the rest of the surveillance video from the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. The sheriff and FBI acknowledged this morning that it could take years to find her with their current investigation. Put the video out. Someone may recognize the suspect when seen from the right angle. The Guthrie family must feel incredibly defeated right now. They have the resources available and should consider bringing in additional private assets at this point. I don't know if Steven Fisher Investigates is taking clients, but I'd love him to be on this case. He tags the FBI director, and the Pima sheriff. He says, release the remaining video. Public confidence is being lost. It's true. Put a 3 in the chat, or we already do 3s? Put a 4 in the chat if public confidence is being lost or has already been lost. FBI director, Cash, Pima sheriff, please release. No, he just said please. He did not say please. He just said release the remaining video. Public confidence is being lost. There's no secrecy in this case anyway. You have a caravan of 200 reporters following you to every innocent person's house you raid with a search warrant, and it's true. Release the footage. What's the holdup? What is the holdup? Now, this person here is saying this is the exact same Range Rover because it's got this red piece right here. And this right here, Range Rover was listed apparently at the MG Motors, which is what the back of the license plate of this Range Rover did say. Now, I am not a Range Rover connoisseur, so I don't exactly know how they could say for sure this is the same Range Rover. I mean, they make more than one. Yeah, it does kind of look like it was just over there at this place, and it does look like the same Range Rover. It certainly looks the same, but I don't know. Yeah, vehicle not found, they say. But here is the picture of supposedly something that appears to be perhaps the exact same Land Rover Range Rover. And this is 2017 Land Rover Range Rover Sport Dynamic Drive Pro package. They sold it for, or they listed it for $17,995. Expires in one day, 2/15/2026. And she puts this VIN number. Now, it's interesting there's a VIN number there, but I don't know how this person could possibly know this is the exact same one. However, it does look like the same one. It could be, totally could be. And I could also be missing something. Like, what am I missing here? Like, how do I know this is the same one? Maybe it's that red thing isn't always on all of them. But this is apparently, it said they only had one of these. The Range Rover pulled over at Culver's last night, was sold to him on the same day see, this is like, I can't substantiate any of this stuff. That doesn't mean it's not true. This is supposedly a sale record. It's pretty crazy if some random just found this, y'all. It sold a day ago. At the time she took the screenshot, this was a couple days ago now. So this is February 14th. This was yesterday. Did they just sell it? It says just sold. It says it was sold 11/20/25. So all that I'm just showing y'all just to say there's theories, there's investigating, and there's stuff going on out here. The people are taking matters into their own hands with this investigation because we have to. I'm not, again, I can't substantiate anything about this Range Rover, but we do have some more information about it or some more speculation about it. Range Rover looks like it's been sitting a long time. I don't know if that's actually true. Yes, it's because it's raining. Yep. It did rain that day. It was yesterday, technically, but it was like the night before. It was like, 1 a.m. time. It was raining. This is rain. I don't know how long it had been sitting there. I'm just showing y'all different things I found along the way. I don't think it had been sitting there a long time. They even kind of like recanted. Again, these people are acting like they have a VIN number. I don't know how they could. If this really is true, okay, that's interesting. But I don't know how they would have gotten this VIN number. It says the VIN number from the Range Rover taken during the Nancy Guthrie investigation comes back to a guy named Zach Jaghoob. He works for a company called MG Financial Enterprises. The owner of MG Financial Enterprises is Karen Arakalov. Mohammed Lulu is also an owner. Nancy Guthrie investigation. Okay, all that would be very interesting to me if there was any way to like prove that the vehicle, that was the VIN number of the vehicle. I'm not sure that that's like a public information or how they got that information. I do want to look at a picture real quick. Hold on. I want to find the license plate. There's like a paper license plate. It does look like a paper license plate. Okay. I find this to be actually the most interesting thing. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is, I can't substantiate this. Sorry, excuse me, not that. The VIN from the Range Rover taken during the Nancy Guthrie investigation. I don't know if he's like using this as the VIN. And again, I didn't see how they specifically ascertained that this VIN number is the same. She said they only had one of these, but I don't know, like once they sell one, if it would go off the thing. But let's just like follow these people's rabbit hole where they're going down. Again, I can't substantiate. This could be a totally different vehicle. This would be a wild goose chase, but I have the links here, so we'll take a look. Yeah, someone said some people have access to DMV databases through their businesses. Like, yeah, if she would have said that, that would have explained it, but she didn't. They got the information from the time they seized the vehicle. I know, but who got that information? Because I don't think that was publicly released, and they were covering that thing with a sheet. So I don't think it's for sure, this. However, that being said, I do want to pull up the picture that Crystal, she sent me 2 pictures. So I'm going to pull up the first. This is like a close up, higher def picture of the back of the car that they put the piece of yellow paper on. Okay. Now pay attention here. MG Motors Tucson. Oh, when you click on MG Motors Tucson, it does bring you to another. We don't have the tag. The thing is, y'all, we don't have the VIN number from the vehicle. I don't know where those people got that idea from. The license plate cover on the Culver car was also from that dealership. Yes. The VIN came from a post online Craigslist linking to the one for sale. Yes. Acknowledged. I know that there was a car for sale that looked exactly like this car. But as y'all know, cars can look exactly the same because there's not just one 2017 Range Rover ever made. That's silver with the red thing. Now that's why I said I'm not a Range Rover expert. Was that red thing on the tire something specific and unique? I do know the license plate matches up to the dealership. They saw, but how do I know they didn't sell 2 of those ever in history, recently? I'm not saying the people are wrong. What I'm saying is I don't feel comfortable making a statement as if it's a fact when I personally don't know the basis upon which that statement is made. I don't know. That girl might have more information than me. Clearly she does. But I personally, I can't go on a limb and say, yes, this is the same vehicle. But it's very compelling and it's excellent research. I definitely think there's something to the theory, but we don't know for sure without knowing. Okay, Angie, please. The all caps, you have to stop. Stop yelling, first of all. I do not have the tag. The car is right here in front of me. Okay, Andy, look at it. You tell me what the goddamn motherfucking tag number is then. Here, you tell me. You have it right in front of you, Andy, since you want to holler in all caps. You tell me, what is the tag number? You have the tag right there. I'm waiting. We're all waiting. Goodbye. Anyway, it could be that car. It could be. It could be that same exact car. And if so, good find. And if not, still good find. I mean, that is some excellent detective work. But me personally, I can't be out here being like, oh, it's the same exact car. Look, you can just tell. No, I can't. I can't just have no idea. However, look at this right here. This is another picture that Crystal did send me. It's up close. Now, this says 2, as in February, 12. And I guess that says 26. You can kind of see it like that. But this 2/12/26, this thing was towed on 2/14. When did this get marked as evidence? Did they just write the wrong date? If they did, that's pretty foolish. How's the FBI writing the wrong date on stuff? Just things to think about. This is evidence tape. This is, I don't exactly know what they put this on here for, but I assume it's to keep the evidence preserved and the chain of custody accounted for. I know, seriously. Lots of sleuths, including me. She said, like, is this this placed on at a dealership before the plate is received? So here's the thing I wanted to bring up. So let's say this crazy theory, is true. That would make it very interesting indeed. This person here, allegations saying that the owner, Nancy Guthrie investigation, Culver's comes back to Zach Jaghoob. He works for a company called MG Financial Enterprises. Wait a second. MG Financial Enterprises? Like maybe the same MG as MG Motors? Nancy, okay, so Zach, MG Financial Services. The owner of MG Financial Services is Karen Arakalov. Okay, but MG Financial Enterprises is Zach's employer. He works for them, but he's also driving an MG Motors car, a Range Rover. I don't know. That's interesting. MG. Um, I thought it was anyway. Okay, so shout out to Crystal. Thank you for giving me that little lead. Again, that VIN number, if that turns out to be the exact same vehicle, wow, wild. Okay, here's a video of it. See how it's like rainy, kind of drizzly. Okay, so I wanted to show you all that video. I have another up close photo of the license plate. It might be the exact same one. MG Motors Tucson, MG Motors. I don't know who drove that vehicle. I don't know who owns the vehicle. I don't know anything about the vehicle other than this, what I'm looking at here, and it got towed. So I wanted to show y'all that up close. This is the home that was searched the other night on the 6200 block of North Placita de Rogelio in the Shadow Hills neighborhood. Several agencies carried out their operation here in connection with Nancy Guthrie's search. They did go knock on the door and nobody apparently answered. Okay, supposedly this is that address. It looks remarkably like Nancy's home. So then there was like somebody pulled this tarp off this car, and this car is all crashed up. That was one thing very interesting I saw. There was a car in their front yard, and this tarp had been pulled off of it, and the front was all banged up. Why do they write letters to TMZ and not Good Morning America? I mean, who knows? Thank you so much to Joseph, the Vampire Slayer, for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Okay. So also those neighbors didn't answer again when they went up to ask. Now, this is we're moving on to another section of the video here. One of Nancy Guthrie's last posts on Nextdoor app. Okay, so Nancy Guthrie was on this app. Okay, that she was on this app for her community. And they would, text each other on it. One of Nancy's last posts on this app shows her asking whether someone named Amy Jacob might be missing an Amazon package. And then this guy says, after reviewing all the people in the area stealing packages from doorsteps and mailboxes, I can't stop thinking about it. And here's Nancy, supposedly in the Nextdoor app, is Amy Jacobs missing a package from Amazon. Julie, 6 weeks ago, said they leave packages everywhere and anywhere. Please use Amazon drop boxes whenever possible. Bish. This is right here, Julie is about to catch a stray. Julie W. is exactly why I can't live somewhere that's got a homeowners association. Imagine working your whole adult and child life to reach a point you can buy $1 million house in a beautiful neighborhood, and you got Julie W. bitching at you in the neighbors app to inconvenience yourself by using an Amazon drop box. I can't. It's like that Reddit mod mentality. They just got to tell somebody how to do something. They got to tell somebody what to do. Oh my God. I can't stand these Julie W types. Nope. Nope. I will never live anywhere with a neighbor with a homeowners association. No, I won't. Never. That you can mark my words. One of Nancy's last posts is she's like, hey, is Jamie Jacob is it? She's trying to be this nice old lady. They do do it different. Shut up, you incessant cow. Ugh. I told y'all she was about to catch a stray. Anyway, like this guy right here, I've been following him every single day. I read at least one of his posts, sometimes more. He said one of Nancy Guthrie's last posts, he said, after reviewing all the people in the area stealing packages from doorsteps and mailboxes, I can't stop thinking about it. So I want to show y'all what he's talking about here. I'm I'm scrolling to see like actually a video. Okay, he posted this 4 hours ago. On February 2nd, oh, this looks like he's carrying something huge. Whoa. Or is he being haunted by a ghost? This is crazy. Did you see that? What? On February 2nd at 1 a.m., their time over there, it looks like he's holding something. A neighbor reported that an unknown individual walked past their home and returned a few minutes later carrying a large bag about 7 miles northwest of Nancy's home. Whoa. Okay. Can anyone pinpoint the neighborhood circled? Okay. Look at this. 2 days ago, a resident in close proximity to Nancy's home reports a man looking into their apartment at 12 a.m. and into a neighbor's at 1:18 a.m. They say it's frightening because of recent break-ins in the area, and they have 3 young children at home while warning others to be cautious. Another neighbor comments in the thread, I wonder if it's Julie, in the neighbor app, saying behavior is very similar to the Guthrie case video, except the person isn't fully covered by masks and gloves, noting how he immediately looks for a key and pointing out the reflections in his backpack. The man has been arrested, but this is not necessarily connected to the Nancy Guthrie case, right? This is just another incident in the area. So he's looking apparently for a key. He's got backpack. He's looking, I guess, for a key. Maybe this is why he pulled up the bush to see if it was really a bush. Maybe the subject wanted to sorry, I lost my train of thought. There was too much going on. Look at the javelinas. He said, after you defeat the men with backpacks and mustaches, this is the next level in the Tucson game. Nah, bruh. Look at these little piggies. They're cute. I'm looking for like a ring. He's been watching these videos and posting some of them. Look, January 29th. This is the day, 2 days before Nancy went missing. 3 days. 4:17 a.m. A video was posted on the Ring Neighbors app with a warning to watch out as a man trespasses through their yard. Another neighbor reported a man going through their mailbox at 12:55 a.m. on January 20th. While a third video from January 27th shows a masked man trespassing and checking doors at 12:41 a.m. All of the incidents occurred within a 5-mile radius of Nancy Guthrie's. Okay, so this is one person trying to get into the car. Oh my God. Is there a big like recovery? Like, do a lot of people go to Arizona for rehab? Because some of this is giving like Florida shuffle looking a little bit. Like that guy, not him, the one we just saw. Okay, this guy's pants need to be washed and dried again because they're saggy in the butt. All right, we got this guy poking around in the mailbox. Okay. Let's go back. What is that? Mm. Okay, hold on. I want to go back to that nerdy Esquire guy. Okay. I want to go through some of those videos that he posted. We've already started, obviously, but confront. Oh, Vitali. No, that's. Here's another one. This man captured on ring footage 123, January 23rd, 4:19 a.m. They do it. It happens a lot at this time frame, like between like 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., where the complainant reported this guy came up to the front of my house, looked at my windows, and checked my door. About 4 miles from Nancy Guthrie. The FBI said the person of interest from Nancy's porch was about 5'9" with an average build and didn't specify an ethnicity. Although a lot of people have been saying Hispanic or light complexion, but the FBI didn't specify an ethnicity. Yeah, release all the footage. Just scrolling through to see if he has any more Ring doorbell footage he's been watching.
Did you see police?
Move your car now, please.
I called my husband.
Move your car.
My husband called me.
Move your car.
Okay.
Why is somebody saying, move your car in that fucking accent on American soil at an American citizen? It gives me a scalp chill. It's a freaking invasion. Move your car. Move your tongue. If you're going to screech orders at Americans, why? I told y'all this one time. I was with my friends on a boat. It was Independence Day, July 4th, America's biggest day. Okay, which when we declared independence from those inbred royals over there. And there was this guy pulled us over and gave us a ticket on the water in a boat because we couldn't get our life jackets on and out fast enough. It was like a large boat. We weren't going that fast. There was life jackets. They were under the seat, but he was like, no, it was a little too slow. He didn't have a timer out or anything. He just decided, and he had this Australian accent. Shout out to the Australian cousins. Y'all know I love Australians. But something about this man on Independence Day with his accent writing me a ticket on America's birthday. That I just got that same feeling. Ugh. Listen to how aggressive this man is. Oh my God.
You see? Oh, I don't want to be on the news. Thank you. Did you see police?
Move your car now, please.
I called my husband.
Move your car.
My husband called me.
Move your car.
What in the beans on toast mother hell is this man's problem? What has crawled up his ass and died? Because it's got to be something. I do not like this. I don't like it. I really don't like that at all. There was no reason for him to talk to that woman like that's not how you talk to your elders in the United States of America. I don't know how y'all do that over there. You don't talk to elders like that. Move your car. Excuse me. You're fired. You're fired. No, you're fired. Fired. Anyway. Awaiting okay from the feds. Okay, so I guess that's like as much of the Ring camera I feel like looking for now. Let's move to the next thing. Nancy was on the Neighbors app in one of her posts, so I showed y'all that. Okay, somebody had another good little theory, a good little point over here I want to read to y'all. This is from when workers were granted access, which I don't think these were workers. I think these were feds. These were people who were investigating this pool somehow, either feds, private investigators, whatever. I don't think these are freaking pool workers. However, let's pretend for the purposes of this conversation right now that they were pool workers. For her point, workers were granted access to the house this morning to clean the pool. What in the actual hell is going on with this case? Are you kidding? Somebody said, so she doesn't have a subscription for her Ring cam, but money is spent for the pool upkeep while she's missing? She's 84 years old with a cane. Who is using that pool? That's a good point. I'd like to know myself. Who is using that pool? That's a great point. That's a great question. There was another like scanner cam thing. This didn't end up being anything important, but I'll play it for y'all because it's on my line items. More emergency radio traffic. This is from yesterday. From last night as the scene unfolded with SWAT detaining individuals related to Nancy Guthrie's case.
Dallas, do you have a rifle you can spare us? We're over here. We're going to run up and do an emergency move once you guys have cover for us.
Do you have a rifle you could spare? We're going to run up and do an emergency move once you guys can cover for us. Oh, did y'all not see it? It was just this. Here, I'll play it again. That bug is haunting me in here. I need to get it out of here.
Run up and Dallas, do you have a rifle you can spare us? We're over here. We're going to run up and do an emergency move once you guys have cover for us.
So that was just police scanner dispatch traffic, going on the radios. But look, what a time, y'all. What a time capsule on what's happening. Politics trending is Area 51, trending hashtag Nancy Guthrie case, trending Prince Harry, and trending Erica Kirk. Girl, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Okay, starting to be like the movie Cocoon. I didn't see that one. Okay, I'm going to move on to my next line item here. Another scanner thing.
P11. Looks like the male selected a backpack and now has it on.
Copy. He has a backpack?
Yeah, 10-4 backpack.
So just some little, radio traffic to give you some sense of what's been chattering about on the radios. That was from yesterday, so I don't think that ended up being anything, with this case, at least not that we know of yet. And then there's this signal tracker investigators have used. This is so funny. This guy has been posting stuff like this. He's been posting stuff like this. It kind of looks like these flight map type of things. And he said the other day, Brian Enton's going to think I'm so crazy. And I really respect him, but Brian Enton is going to think I'm so crazy for always posting these swirly maps with helicopters. And then last night, like 9:30 p.m., Brian Enton said, investigators have used what is called a signal sniffer. It's a small device that was sent in and attached to the sheriff's helicopter. It can detect Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker signal and all y'all's too. It can detect anybody's pacemaker signal, by the way. The helicopter has to stay low and move slowly for it to work. This guy said, now I don't look so crazy, because it looks like maybe they're isolating these two areas. U.S. Army heli. Okay. So anyway, next line item. Oh, okay. So the pacemaker tracker thing, I had commented to it and I said, hopefully had used means like 2 weeks ago and not like right now. SF Investigates did comment on this, and thank God for that. He said, I have worked 3 times with the signal sniffer technology being mentioned in the Nancy Guthrie case. It's called Blue Fly, and it can detect a range of signals, including Wi-Fi, cellular, or pacemaker, and other RF emissions. I think that means radio frequency. In the 3 searches I've been involved in, the first being Heron's case with Riverside and San Diego County SAR, we were searching for cell and or low power RF signals from a phone. I will say that you have to fly incredibly close to the ground. It is not something you use to sweep an entire city. It's mostly used when this freaking bug, I swear. It's mostly used when you have a defined area like a natural disaster zone. We did not have success with it in any of the 3 searches I participated in, but that does not mean it's ineffective. It seems like it means it's ineffective, but that's fine. That's fine. I just don't see the use case here, SF Investigate says, unless they have identified a very specific search area where a helicopter can fly very low and slow, roughly 50 feet above the ground level at most. Someone said, what about a drone? Steve Fisher said, because of the DJI ban, I'm not sure if Pima County even has a current drone program. I don't know what the DJI ban is. But even if they do, they have to have a defined search area. These sniffers are usually used when you know someone is in a defined search area and you are having problems locating them because debris or other reasons. Someone said, Anritsu MS-2080A is the device I use, and very good, using the frequency settings on cellular for 600 megahertz to 900 megahertz and targeted uplink frequency 300. Okay, girl, what? I don't need all that. Just know false hits are always there and hard to negate due to multiple emitters causing interference. Seems like using a drone would be more appropriate. Okay. So anyway, that was SF Investigates. Let me see if he's said anything else about this case, actually. Okay, that one we read. Okay, so he said on February 14th, I don't know if I made a video or a comment on this one yet, so I'll read this. He said, I hope SWAT's raid tonight and the ongoing search warrant lead to Nancy Guthrie being found and those responsible being arrested. I can't believe some of the unverified speculation being circulated, including photos of supposed suspects. I will wait to post when there is confirmation of suspects. Yeah, same here. These are real people whose lives could be harmed by false accusations. The internet is forever, and this is quite possibly the highest profile missing person case ever. Reckless accusations claiming that a congresswoman and her district manager were arrested, along with allegations that former high-level attorney from Attorney General's office is involved, is insane. This doesn't help Nancy or her family. It risks falsely accusing innocent people. This is a reason law enforcement no longer holds regular press conferences and why the true crime community is not respected by law enforcement. Well, that's not really why. And this is why I don't do communities. I'm not in any community. I'm not in a true crime community. I'm not in any community, because what I do, I should be held responsible for, and what other people do, they should be held responsible for. And I think that it's actually so sad. It's really sad. And I really have a lot of respect for Steve Fisher. So I really, truly, I hope he understands he's also part of the true crime community, if they are. So I don't support their actions. And I know that y'all saw me literally hollering and screaming at Andy a while ago in here, who's now blocked from the channel, because I will not accuse somebody of doing something they did not do. I will not say this person did this when I don't know that to be a fact, or I don't believe it to be a fact. I don't think it's right to be circulating pictures of people. I certainly don't think it's right to be circulating false allegations. But it's like that one little group of people who happens to also have YouTube channels that now it's all YouTubers. Now it's all people that talk, even discuss true crime. I mean, Steve Fisher himself said this is the perhaps highest profile missing persons case of all time, which I would highly disagree. I think it was John Benet Ramsey even before social media. But let's say it was. Let's say this is the highest profile case, missing persons case. Then people are allowed to talk about it. People are allowed to say things about it. People are allowed to make a YouTube video about it. Now, I totally agree with Steve Fisher, and I live by those same rules. I don't just go posting people's pictures and saying, oh, this is if you remember yesterday, before I even got off my live, I was like, I have this whole other section about this Baird Green guy, but I want to do more investigation. I want to make sure that all of these T's are dotted and I's are crossed. You know what I mean? The same way with that VIN number. I need to know exactly why someone thinks it's not just but good enough for me that it's one Range Rover that this place sold. It does look compelling. That's why I brought the theory to you. But I'm not going to be out here like trash talking entire quote communities. But I'm not in a community, so I know he ain't talking about me. I stand by law enforcement and their efforts in this case. I don't stand by law enforcement. I don't stand by their efforts. And I also don't stand by true crime community. So I stand by me, myself, and the Lord, and that's about it. All right. So if anybody's wondering, and the truth being number one. Now, speaking of which, I want to go to something that I actually tweeted earlier, and it's about that local Arizona lawmaker. This is exactly right. I'm getting the sense that local media and local politicians don't want outsiders in Houston covering Nancy Guthrie. Breaking news 2 hours ago. I don't know if this is true. This is just like on my Twitter here. A JLR investigates outside the home of Nancy Guthrie. A hot mic catches Gutierrez, a Republican candidate for Congress, saying the sheriff screwed up. What can you say? Nanos is quiet. The mic doesn't. I don't know if that's true. I need to fact check that. Y'all saw me just stumble across it in real time here. But I want to show y'all. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. I need to send a text. Okay. So this lady had said this. Okay. Representative Alma Hernandez says, as someone who lives and represents Tucson, so she lives Tucson. Okay. She doesn't live in, she just lives Tucson. As someone who lives Tucson and represents Tucson / Pima County, God forbid the woman say, and I am so sick of watching the reporting, grifting, insane speculation, lies, and BS by random wannabe journalists and YouTubers who have now caused more harm than good to this entire situation. Okay, we're going to stop there because this bitch don't know how to use a goddamn period. Okay, we are 6 lines in. I need to take a breath. She's sick. This is someone who's running for Congress, by the way, or for office here. Okay, so do you know what the first thing you do before you can even assume your position in office? You know what the first thing you do? You put your hand on a book that you believe in or something, and you put your hand up in the air and you promise to uphold the United States Constitution. You promise. So everybody who's in Arizona, I will let you know, this bitch is going to be fucking lying when she stands up there and takes an oath. She's going to be lying. She will be breaking her promise because the very first amendment in the Bill of Rights, which is part of the United States Constitution, is the freedom of speech and the freedom of the press. And the purpose of freedom of speech and freedom of the press is so that we can bitch and complain and criticize the government. That's why we have it. That's the main reason. We also, of course, have all these rights are inalienable. The law, the Constitution does not give them to us. We are born with these rights. All of us are. Humans are born with these rights, but your governments are tyrannical, including mine. Okay. However, we do at least, thank God, have it written down somewhere that we're allowed to talk. We're allowed to talk. And if we want to drive to Tucson, Arizona and film what in the hell the circus is going on over here, we can. And so I, for one, am so appreciative of specifically JLR Investigates. I watch his show, his lives for hours a day, because whenever you can't count on the government, my government, the FBI, the federal government to give you an update, give you a little what's what on the Nancy Guthrie, it's not just coming to the special selected favorites. It's coming to all the people because they're able to get in their cars, JLR, and drive to the next. Oh, we're going to the hospital. There was a helicopter on the roof. That is historical. That is history in the making. He is not being paid, to my knowledge, a salary to do that. He took it upon himself to do that. That is giving us information that we need. I don't give a flying rat's ass what you think about JLR, the person Jonathan Lee Rich is. The service he is doing for all of us internationally it cannot be overstated, excuse me. It cannot be overstated. People all over the world are watching him hours a day. He had 79,000 people in his live stream the other night. That means the public wants to know what's going on. And here is this inflamed cow, this inflamed, uncouth swine who wants to run for office, and she's going, this bitch will break her oath, I promise. She will break her oath. She doesn't understand how the First Amendment works. That is terrifying and should honestly disqualify her from office. She should be disqualified based on this tweet alone. And I didn't even get to the first period of her first sentence. Wannabe journalists. Well, from what I'm looking at, she's a wannabe human. Look at this pig. Oink, oink, bitch. Wannabe journalist. Then this is after the touch-ups and the filters and everything else. Snort, snort, oink, oink, cow. Because you're a fucking farm animal, last I checked. Calling somebody else a wannabe journalist and YouTuber? Can't relate. Moo. Look at the snout on that thing. And she wants to call other people wannabe journalists and YouTubers. It seems like maybe she's the bitch wants to be the YouTuber because it seems like she's jealous. Seems like she's jealous 79,000 people don't want to sit in her live. And she looks like she stinks. She said, please go home. Let law enforcement do their jobs by not securing the crime scene, by not holding press conferences. The jig is up. I bet she got so ratioed. Stop following them during SWAT operations. No. Stop playing detectives. No. I am sick of the constant lies from those who can't even spell Tucson and clearly have never been to our city. Well, bitch, I'm not looking forward to coming over there because it seems like you can get snatched up from your bed and nobody in the whole area, including the FBI, can figure out where you went. It looks like y'all can't even keep that place safe. No wonder nobody wants to go. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful, but the swine have fucked it up. You included. This home is not near downtown or midtown. So posting random people a video of videos of people walking in yards. Yeah, she's upset that we're getting the full picture of what's really going on because you can't buy off a JLR and a Dolly Vision and a Andy Popcorn Planet and me. I'm not over there. I'm home. Don't worry about it, girly pop. I'll be here. Oink, oink. I'll be right here. Okay. But we know Mexicans don't all look the same. Yes, we do know that. No one said that Mexicans all look the same. You just made that up. You're making shit up. Our sheriff should probably stay off social media and not to speak to the press anymore. So we should get less answers, less transparency. Everybody should go home. So you can see what I said. I said, instead of finding the disabled grandma who was snatched from her bed, bleeding in the middle of the night by one lone amateur, the local political swine now demand independent journalists stop showing the public exactly how incompetent and incapable these lowlifes really are. Okay, so that was the translation. What a disgusting, disgusting bovine creature. Okay, Savannah Guthrie may not go back to the Today Show. This is being reported today. Savannah Guthrie is considering leaving the Today Show for good amid hellish search for missing mother. Insiders say. Imagine you're minding your business and people are like, oh yeah, she might not come back to work, and goes tell everybody. Savannah Guthrie is reportedly considering leaving her role as host of NBC's flagship program, The Today Show, as the massive search. Yeah, because they're probably like, okay, well, if you're not going to come back to work, we got to put somebody else on here. She vanished February 1st from her home in the rural neighborhood of Tucson, prompting authorities to launch a kidnapping investigation that has captivated the nation. Savannah is perhaps one of the most recognized faces in network news. I did not recognize her face, I'll tell you that. Having first appeared in NBC in 2007. Now, if she comes back with a YouTube channel, then I'm going to know who really wanted to be the YouTuber. The wannabe YouTuber this whole time was her. But I'll digress. Source, because that's what they do. Megyn Kelly, Nancy Grace, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, they leave their network jobs and they act like it's a big retirement or something, and then they just go be a YouTuber. All the girlies want to be a YouTuber. I'll tell you that. Me too. That's why I do it for my job. This absolutely came out of the view. This absolutely came out of the blue. And I think she's really concerned it was because of her job. Oh, Savannah might be thinking that the reason that her mother, this happened was because of her and her job. Oh, that sucks. The reporter also added Savannah was reportedly a mess and worried that past segments featuring her mother made Nancy vulnerable. And there were reports, there were news articles of people kind of saying that. Like, was it, was Savannah Guthrie in the wrong for exposing her mother and where she lives and her favorite Mexican restaurant and her favorite this and that, and this is this and that? And she didn't go into the house, but there were, in the Today Show segments, but there were times where they had Nancy on the Today Show, and there were times where they had her, kind of exposed, and people wrote about that and said Savannah Guthrie couldn't even bother to pay for the Ring doorbell subscription or a security system. I mean, a lot of times you break into somebody's house and it's wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, pew, 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 and it calls the cops and it calls the this and it calls the that. Now, that's all assuming there's forced entry. That's all assuming there's forced entry, because we don't actually know for sure if there was forced entry or not. Doesn't help Savannah that NBC's Today Show has skyrocketed 23% since the kidnapping. Oh my God. Valkyrie Storm said, out of the blue, I said she's probably not going back, maybe like a week ago. This is a traumatic situation for sure. She does say that in her bio. Yes, she does. Trying to control what we do or say. Shocking. It's shocking. It's so shocking. Nobody from over there has ever tried to do anything like that. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. 3 months ago, it was the hometown segment. Right. Oof, that's bad. I'm personally not saying that Savannah Guthrie is in any way at fault. I wouldn't even actually speculate that. I'm more of the mind that has nothing at all to do with Savannah Guthrie. I think it has more to do with vices. I keep saying that, maybe it has something to do with Savannah in the periphery, but like, I think it's more likely to have to do with that son, the son-in-law, maybe a nephew or a niece we haven't heard of. Maybe I would be more likely to believe that it was like a lover, like a romance scammer or something like that. But I have an open mind to this whole thing. I reserve the right to change my mind when presented with more evidence. Law enforcement believes Nancy was snatched from her home in the middle of the night. Her age and health status have complicated the search, leading investigators in a race against time to find Nancy. Authorities have combed her Tucson home, raided a nearby residence, and uncovered surveillance camera footage in a desperate attempt to cover clues about Nancy's whereabouts. Some things I don't have anything nice to say, so I just don't say it. But sometimes I really do wanting to say stuff sometimes. I'll just say that. Fresh hope for a break in the case came Friday when special weapons and tactics units were seen descending on a nearby Tucson home in connection with the search. However, the sheriff's office later announced there were no arrests made. Just about 3 months ago, Savannah returned to her hometown of Tucson for a nostalgic tour, visiting the place that shaped her upbringing. This special segment, which aired on NBC's Today Show in November, framed Tucson as the city where Savannah's soul is home, with a focus on family and community. Her mother made a rare on-air appearance during the segment as the pair toasted to the gentle desert town she lived in since the 70s. But following her disappearance, there is a growing concern behind the scenes at NBC that the feature might have inadvertently placed Nancy in danger, the Daily Mail has learned. Her disappearance has cast the November homecoming special in a stark new light. There's a lot of soul searching at NBC about whether their segment made Nancy a target. A Today Show source told the Daily Mail. Resurfaced Today Show footage of Nancy's home tour. I don't think they really did do a home tour. It was just like in the hometown. You see what I mean? Like, am I the only one thinking it? If I am, maybe I am. The segment did not feature Nancy's home or disclose details about where she lived specifically. At the time, Savannah, who's 54, described the 6-minute feature as a love letter to Tucson, the desert city she moved to at age 2 from Australia. Okay, and now we got people's move the car. Oh my God, where the family put down roots. Savannah was just 16 when her father, Charles, suddenly died of a heart attack while on a mining job in Mexico. Okay, well, I'm wondering if you have any of that booger sugar or something like that. Anyway, Nancy was just 46 when Charles died. So that's sad. Leaving her to raise the 3 children alone as Savannah, Annie, and we have Charles Cameron. The Alma lady said that. The son-in-law gambling debts, people are saying. Could be. Okay, so now I'm going to close some of these tabs. Oh my God, I have so many tabs open. And then let's see if we have any more breaking news updates about Nancy, old Nancy. Where is Nancy Guthrie? Okay, we have the New York Times too. Okay, so let's start here. Okay. Task force awaits forensic results as search enters 3rd week. This is what I don't understand is like, are they talking also about Brian Enton? Like there's like real reporters out there too. Traditional mainstream ones too. So like, which ones are the wannabe journalists and YouTubers? Because if you can pull 79,000 people into a live stream at one time, I don't think you're wannabe too much anything. I think you're pretty bona fide. The people have spoken by tuning in and wanting to hear it from him. So who is this bovine cow, this pig, this swine, this barnyard animal to tell us we can't have the people we want over there to be filming and stuff? I don't get it. I hope she loses her next election. Actually, I might even make a political contribution for the first time. And at least in years, to whoever in the hell is running against that thing. Ew. It made me sick to blow the picture up and make it larger. Gloves mark breakthrough in the case. Retired New York NYPD Lieutenant Dr. Darren Porcher called preliminary forensic results tied to a recovered glove truly a breakthrough in the Nancy Guthrie case, saying the DNA profile could move the investigation forward. It's truly a breakthrough in the case. The DNA will go into the CODIS database, and I'm hopeful a match will occur. If unsuccessful, we can go the genealogical route to match secondary DNA through family members, which was a success in the Brian Koberger case. It'd be your own people. On another note, the private sector has the ability to create an image of a person based on DNA. Okay. I'm done. I'm checked out. You can create an image of a person based on their DNA. Oh my God. An FBI spokesperson told Fox News Digital that a glove containing the DNA profile is different from approximately 16 others recovered near the home, most of which were discarded by searchers, so they littered, and appears to match the gloves worn by the suspect or the subject. The FBI received preliminary results yesterday and is awaiting quality control and official confirmation before entering the unknown male profile into CODIS. The spokesperson said the process usually takes 24 hours from when the feds receive the DNA. I'm going to look up what is CODIS. Okay, this is CODIS according to JLR is looking at a glove under an underpass right now. Please. It's probably one of those litterers. I'm going over there. Hold on. Where's the glove? Okay, so he's just walking on a... I thought he was looking at a glove on an underpass right now. Apparently he's not. Okay. I'll look into that later. Thanks so much to Real Tea with Krista Marie for becoming a new member. Shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you. So this is what CODIS is. It means Combined DNA Index System. It's an FBI operated computer software program and database system that links DNA profiles from crime scenes, convicted offenders, and missing persons. It enables federal, state, and local laboratories to compare DNA profiles electronically to generate investigative leads, connect serial cases, and identify suspects. Key aspects and benefits of CODIS: database structure, indices, capabilities. Okay. Missing persons. It's a vital tool for modern law enforcement. Okay. So this is like the criminal, database of DNA. Let me look up. There was a New York Times one that I saw that was just updated recently. New York Times. Okay, this was updated 43 minutes ago, so probably is not going to have anything that new, but let's look, because a lot of times it will be New York Times that gets extra little nuggets of information. So let's see. Gloves that appear to match those in the Guthrie video sent in for analysis. An hour ago, FBI said gloves found about 2 miles from Nancy's home carried an unknown man's DNA. Authorities plan to enter the DNA profile into the database in an effort to identify the person. The Bureau said in a statement that the gloves appeared to match a pair worn by the man who was captured on the doorbell footage. The FBI added that most of the other gloves recovered were litter from their own people. Scott, this isn't true. Please, if you're going to come in here and comment, make sure that you're actually up to speed on the things I've talked about. Nobody talking about what Dolly reported about a guy unaliving himself. Yeah, I did talk about it a lot, like for quite a long time yesterday. Flojo said he sent me an email about the gloves being found. Let me pull that up. Oh yes, I think I already read that, Flojo, the Brian Enton glove status. Let me see, hold on. He said the FBI statement on the gloves is confusing. I'm still trying to figure it out. This part of the FBI statement is significant. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different and it appears to match the gloves. The subject. New from FBI, the gloves found approximately 2 miles from Guthrie residence in a field near the side of the road were packaged up by the sheriff and sent over night on the 12th, and they arrived at the house, at the private lab in Florida on the 13th. The FBI received preliminary results yesterday and waiting quality control. Investigators collected approximately 16 gloves in various areas near the house. Most of them were searchers' gloves, and they discarded them in various areas in the vicinity. The one with the DNA profile recovered is different. It looks like a different type of glove, I think. And it appears to match the gloves of the suspect in the surveillance video. Okay. So let's see if we have any more other breaking news updates. Nancy Guthrie live updates. 15 minutes ago, we had something from Yahoo. Okay, wait, breaking news. It's a male DNA. Male DNA. Breaking news. 33 minutes ago, DNA of an unknown male found on glove at Nancy's home, or near her home. The FBI confirmed to ABC News that the DNA of an unknown male was lifted from a glove that appeared to match the ones worn by the suspect. So it was a male DNA. Okay, let's go to ABC News. Oh, they have a live too? Oh my goodness. We have some updates here. Look at this. Investigators are leaning away from the Guthrie family as suspects. Whoa, ABC has some interesting things only they have. 2 weeks since Nancy was abducted from her home on February 1st, the FBI is turning its focus away from the family and the two individuals who were briefly detained for questioning and toward other potential leads. Sources briefed on the investigation told ABC News. The sources said investigators are leaning away from any relatives of Nancy as suspects. The sources also said investigators are leaning away from both the man who was stopped in Rio Rico, that's Carlos, last week, and the man whose home was searched Friday night. They are leaning away from them. However, the sheriff said nobody is fully cleared until the kidnapper is in custody. Okay, so ABC actually just started making updates today, and they only made 2 ever since the last one they made was on yesterday. Okay, an hour 15 minutes ago, this is huge. I missed that it was a male DNA. DNA of unknown male. Profile lifted from glove found near Guthrie home. Investigators lifted DNA of an unknown male profile from a glove found along roadside brush. Y'all, it might really be the one that the New York Post. Watch it be some like cameraman's DNA from the New York Post or something. From a glove found along, just like not saying he's the kidnapper, saying like, watch it not be. It's like very unlikely it is. That glove looked so fresh and so clean, and it would have had to be out there for like 2 weeks. It didn't look any type of weathered. Anyway, they say investigators lifted DNA of an unknown male profile from a glove found alongside roadside brush about 2 miles from Nancy's home. Sources briefed on the investigation told ABC News. The development was also confirmed by the FBI. The glove appears to generically match the kind of gloves worn by the suspect who was recorded on the missing 84-year-old Guthrie's doorbell camera, sources said. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos told ABC News on Friday DNA had been retrieved from multiple gloves. We've gotten DNA back, he said, so that's of use. Now we have to go through and try to eliminate people or make people. That means like, pin them with the crime or match them to the DNA on the scene. The sheriff's department sent the gloves to a private lab for analysis in Florida on Thursday evening, and they arrived at the laboratory on Friday, according to the FBI. The FBI received preliminary results from the laboratory on Saturday, that was yesterday, and was awaiting quality control and official confirmation on Sunday today before putting this thing is, what the hell? Listen to this.
1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
What is going on?
1 second. 1 second.
And I'm muting my computer and it won't mute. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Is it the ghost of Nancy Guthrie coming through here? That freaked me out. Mm-mm. I didn't like it because I kept pressing the volume button and it wasn't working. It was just like glitching. 1 second, 1 second. Put a 6 in the chat for more than 1 second, girl. We've gotten DNA back, so that's of use. This is from the sheriff. We may have to go through and try to eliminate people or make people. The sheriff department sent the gloves to a private lab for analysis in Florida Thursday. They got to the lab on Friday, and the FBI received preliminary results Saturday, which was yesterday. They're awaiting quality control and official confirmation today before putting the unknown male profile into the database, known as the Combined DNA Index System. The FBI said this process usually takes 24 hours. It's, again, I have it muted. I have the whole computer muted and the tab muted. Investigators collected approximately 16 gloves in various areas near Nancy Guthrie's house, sources told ABC News. Most of the gloves were searchers' gloves that were discarded in various areas. They littered. The one glove with the DNA profile recovered is different from other gloves found in the area and appears to match the gloves of the subject in the surveillance video. Okay, that was one of the most comprehensive updates. Yes, no, we rebuke. Got me scared in the daytime. Mm-mm. 1 second. No, ma'am. I rebuke. Get out of here. Okay, so I'm just going to Twitter right now and see. Look at the FBI leaving and the sheriffs leaving their gloves all over the damn place. Black glove found under the Bat Bridge on Campbell. This is obviously one of their gloves. Like, this isn't the thick one. I think these FBI agents are just littering their gloves all over the place. He said, I found this glove under the Campbell River Road Bridge. It matches the perpetrator's gloves. It doesn't. This doesn't look like a thick enough glove. He said, I tried to contact the FBI for hours and hours, phone and online, literally impossible. I couldn't believe how difficult it was to report. This is the Rito River, a massive sand river. I really think this is like, I mean, look, listen, they do need to go pick it up. Go pick the glove up and tell your people to stop throwing gloves all over the place. But apparently, here's a glove. Look, a glove. And it's like, you don't want to just dismiss it either. Because what if it's like the glove? It creates quite a conundrum. Quite a conundrum indeed. Let's see what else is popping off here. Oh my gosh. This is so funny. I did make a video about the DJ Vlad thing. I'll put that out. Oh my God. Look, this lady is still mad. Oh my God. The cow is mad still. The circus of journalists flooding into our city is not helpful and they know it. It's totally helpful to me. I love it. They're not assisting. We have people never step foot. Okay. I'm not reading that. I can't be bothered. She's gonna have to pay me my hourly rate. Haven't heard from Ashley Banfield in a while. She's still standing by her source that Tommaso Cioni is the prime suspect. That's another one looks kind of animal-esque. She looked like a avian. There's bovine and there's avian. And there's others. She looks like the witch you see at Halloween. I'm just looking at Twitter now. This is where I often get the most up-to-date breaking news about this case. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, this is really interesting. Okay, well, look at this. And I like this guy. He hasn't come across my desk until this case, Nerdy Esquire, Nerdy Addict. He said, crazy. Because I heard the rumors of a suspect taking their own life and didn't report it until the media included it in their article. And then instead of retracting it, they just wiped the article. No mention of that, though. Exactly. And you know who else? No offense, all due respect, all that. Brian Enton, he is considered more to be on the real journalist side of things. He was all up in the middle of a freaking SWAT investigation inside the contained perimeter. He had to get kicked out. He was in the actual freaking way. And shout out to him. I'm thankful to him that he's out there too. I mean, he's giving us news. He's giving us info. I'm glad somebody was in there. But it's like, YouTubers are getting really the brunt of this whenever they're the ones out here with no trailers. They don't have these fancy cars that are pulled right up butt to the back of the property. They don't have these umbrellas. They don't even have anywhere to go use the bathroom. They don't have a network paying for their hotel. They are out there live all day. They don't pop into their trailer and then get their makeup refreshed and pop back out. Hi, tonight we're on the side of the road at Nancy Guthrie. No, they're like doing real work. These are people that are doing real work. And we have these poor Sanpoku eyes over here trying to preach at us. Like now the talking cheese wants to preach to us. I'm with this guy. It's so interesting that like YouTubers and independent journalists, I'm not a journalist, but this is all of us. All of us have the right to speak. All of us have the right to comment on this case. All of the media is commenting on it. So only they're allowed to talk about it. No, we get to talk about it. And I don't really give a flying rat's ass who don't like it over there at C-Web Online, at Fox News, at the Zionist capital of Tucson, apparently. I don't care if Alma don't like it. I don't care if your mama don't like it. Y'all can argue with each other about it because I'm going to be talking about it. And I'm actually going to be taking up for and defending the rights of anybody who wants to get on a plane or get in a car and go over there and do some reporting. Because maybe, just maybe, if we keep an eye on these people, they might do their job. But I promise you, if everyone scurries out of the little town of Tucson right now, out of the city of Tucson, we won't get justice. And certainly Nancy won't. That's my opinion. That's just my opinion. Yes, the talking cheese. Now the talking cheese wants to preach to us. Hold on one second. I need to send myself something. Okay. If you saw photos of someone who takes selfies in front of gas stations like the Circle K and Chevron, selfies and showing surveillance cameras, you would think of suspect touched me. Third week now. How long can someone who's 84 with a... Yeah, this is my question. We're in the third week now. How can someone who's 84 with a pacemaker, how long can they survive without heart medication? Why is Tommaso on vacation in Italy and not by his wife's side? I don't know if that's true or not, by the way. I agree with this. I made a video earlier today about Marina Abramovich. It's called like Jay-Z's favorite witch. Can't walk down the street anymore or something. I have never seen anyone who looks more like an evil witch than Marina Abramovich. She is so creepy. It is true. Where's Savannah? Where's her network? Why aren't they both using their resources, financial or otherwise? That's questions that I'm wondering myself. I'm wondering some of those things myself. Let me see. Let's go to our live updates pages. NBC News. Let's see. Oh, the most recent update from them was 2 hours ago. Media presence. Yeah. Okay. So now they're going to start picking on the YouTubers because the YouTubers are following this moment by moment and giving, and Bryanton included, and giving us the on the ground. So now they're about to clear this street off. Watch. Media presence grows outside Guthrie's home. Appears to have grown since yesterday. Several news crews are positioned along the block, and a sheriff's deputy remains parked in the driveway of her home. A drone was seen flying overhead. At one point, a man stopped briefly to drop off flowers. Glove appears to match those worn by the suspect. Church praise. Okay, so now we're back to the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church. Now they're laying claim to Nancy again. You remember the church wars? Put a 7 in the chat. Remember the church wars? Does she go to St. Andrew's? Is she a member of one in New York? Which one? They pray, Lord, you're with Nancy even now. We pray for her. Guide those who are seeking to find her. Yeah, please, Lord. Please guide them. They need guidance. Amen. Let your peace wash over Nancy's families. Few churchgoers were willing to speak publicly afterward, and the atmosphere was subdued. Mind-boggling and scary, the community reacts to Guthrie's disappearance. At a farmer's market near Guthrie's home this morning, vendors said her disappearance has left many in the community unsettled and searching for answers. Sandra Carey, who lives in Amado, just south of Tucson, and sets up her produce stand at the market every weekend, described the area as friendly and tight-knit. She called it a great community. She said she's struggling to make sense of what happened. How can someone kidnap an 84-year-old woman? She said. I don't know what's going on. The pictures of the masked man at the door, the whole thing is just scary. Phoebe Waybright, who lives in Vail and runs a pet treat stand at the market each weekend, called the case mind-boggling. Let's see. Does Fox have any new updates? Nancy's church prays for peace. St. Andrews. The Arizona representative looking like swine and needing to go back to her trough and leaving us alone needs to be what needs to be happening with her. New York Times updated 8 minutes ago. Is that true? They don't actually ever like update it, or they do, but sometimes they don't. And then it's like misleading. It's all going to start now. It's going to be like YouTubers and influencers shouldn't be allowed to report on this stuff because, like, see, it's easy to call up CNN. Like, if you have, like, for example, I'm not making any accusations, but, like, for example, Savannah Guthrie's husband is, like, a political media, powerhouse. Like, he kind of helps to coordinate PR, media strategy, campaign, this, that, the other. That's from what I understand. I never spoke to him. I never interviewed him. I didn't get confirmation from him, but that's what I read. That's what I understand. I told y'all about 1 week ago that the PR campaign has started. Someone is paying money for a PR campaign. Some of these neighbors who are coming up to people and saying they're neighbors and they live by are lying. They are not. They don't live nearby and they're not neighbors. This wasn't always going on in the Nancy Guthrie case, but it is now. It is now going on. These yellow flowers are another hint of what's making me think that. They're not just only bringing, neighbors aren't just only bringing any flower or teddy bear down the street to Nancy's. No. A little girl, and thank God for JLR Investigates, like him or hate him, love him or hate him. Because of JLR Investigates, he asked somebody the other night, these two teenagers with their mom or something, they were bringing yellow flowers, and they said to JLR, yeah, one of our neighbors messaged us on the message us and said, go make sure you go bring Miss Nancy some yellow flowers today. And you wanted to do yellow. So we brought yellow. That is signs. These are signs of a PR campaign. Why would it matter to Nancy freaking missing ass Guthrie if the flowers were there at all, much less yellow? Somebody tell me. Why would it matter to Nancy Guthrie? You think she's hiding underneath the house in a bunker, and if they put some yellow flowers out, she's going to pop out like the little lad who loves berries and cream? No, she's freaking missing, and she might not even be alive. God forbid, but she might not. Like, let's be serious here. So does it make a difference to Savannah Guthrie, who's worried about even having a job, about a color of a flower? No. But it makes a difference to somebody. Why? So that they can put out headlines. Neighbors gather around Nancy Guthrie. Neighbors so worried, so concerned. Neighbors insert next propaganda, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I don't even pretend to know, but just I can imagine, Neighbors say they wish there was more surveillance around the neighborhood. Neighbors say they wish they could give their DNA up to the database so that if their kids get anything. I don't know the reason why, but I know a PR campaign when I'm looking at one. And it is very easy to send out your little press release to the 15, special favorite news sources, the news nations, the even Newsmax, the ones that have kind of like made a way for themselves. And then for people like you, people like me, people like JLR, people like that, you can wait until you get the information only we have authorized to come out to you, because CNN and NBC are not going to push back as much as a JLR. They have 1,000 trillion different moving parts. And eventually, whenever they need, exactly, Pixie, this is another sign. When they need to pull their number over there at NBC, they will. But it's all a you scratch, my scratch, you scratch back, I scratch your back scenario. Pixie Dot says, why is there so much coverage? I mean, put a 9 in the chat. Put a 9 in the chat if there's just obviously a whole lot of media coverage on this, and it even has sparked a little suspicion in you. Have you asked yourself, why is there so much coverage? And yes, I'm covering it as well because it is being covered so much. It's a story of, it's an iconoclastic story at this point. And it's being shoved down. You can't get on Twitter. You can't get on Instagram. You can't get online without it being, you can't watch the Olympics. They interrupted the Olympics exclusive NBC Olympics coverage that they paid $1 billion, $300 million, no, a bunch of money for, to talk about the Nancy Guthrie case. Why? Because there's PR campaigns behind it. Why, you might be asking? The answer is I don't know. But what I've seen in the past, some PR campaigns can be for certain reasons, such as, as an example, reputation rehabilitation. I won't give the specific example, but if you followed me, you do know. Sometimes they will make media hit pieces on people. I have been a victim of this. There were these little snot-nosed, inexperienced ass people calling themselves reporters, wishing they could be YouTubers, but instead had to be reporters, and calling around to my personal friends and my personal acquaintances from law school asking them snot-nosed ass questions about me without ever telling me they were doing that. There's an HBO Max hit piece documentary against me. They literally, not HBO, but someone literally paid people. And I was told the jig was up. Paid people and made people, tricked people into saying things about me that weren't true. Crazy shit, okay? But why? Because I was saying those people lied about how someone died. It was pretty serious. Somebody died in her care and she lied about how that person died. And so I got the autopsy results and I came out and said, hey, everybody, the way she died wasn't actually a seizure disorder. The way this lady died, this 25-year-old died in a rehab, was a cardiac arrhythmia. Why did they lie? Okay, that was the question. Bam Margera was being held against his will, in his own words, being held against his will, and he was not allowed to have a phone. At some point, he was running away from rehab. Put a 10 in the chat if you remember Bam Margera running away from rehab, and then come to find out he was free to go. There was no court order. There was no conservatorship or guardianship. Those are the same thing at that time. There was no valid legal reason at all whatsoever to have him locked up. But TMZ, Page 6 reported he ran away. He escaped. Why was that media campaign being pushed? Your guess is as good as mine, but it might have something to do with controlling Bam Margera and or possibly perhaps maybe his money. I don't know. I couldn't pretend to know. Sometimes it frankly is just drama. Sometimes people just jump on because they're like, oh, that's getting views. JLR Investigates on YouTube is getting 79,000 people in the chat. We might as well send a crew out, do a couple stories. Sometimes it's that. Other reasons to do a PR campaign. I know y'all are familiar now with the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case. The Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case is, they have their different reasons for doing their PR campaigns. And I'm not even saying a PR campaign is illegal, y'all. This is just how it works. A big reason for PR campaigns, put a 1 in the chat if you remember the hot coffee lady, the McDonald's hot coffee. And it was like, wow, what a stupid old idiot. What a stupid moron who doesn't know coffee is hot. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that. And being convinced that this was just some lunatic idiot. And anybody and everybody that ever tried to sue a big corporation was just money grifting and money grabbing. 1 in the chat. Well, would it surprise you to find out that that water was about 200 degrees hotter than was allowed by regulation, aka law? Would it surprise you to find out that that lady had to have her entire genital skin grafted? It was 3 seconds that coffee was on her and it caused 3rd-degree burns down the whole first layer of skin, burned, scalded off. And did you know that for years, not only had McDonald's been receiving complaints about their coffee being too freaking hot, yes, so hot it was burning, scalding people's top layer of skin off. They actually had to settle several suits, not just McDonald's anywhere, no baby girl, no baby boy, that location. Did you know any of that? No, you didn't. Why? Because a lobbying group paid a PR company, or many of them, to spread the message that that was a senile old coot, stupid ass idiot who didn't know hot coffee is hot. When in fact and indeed McDonald's had many warnings of this, had paid out settlements of this. That lady could have died. She was in her 70s. She had the coffee in her lap and she was sitting still in the car. That was another thing that got reported. She was driving down the road trying to put sugar in her coffee. No, she wasn't. They were sitting still parked in a parking spot. They were fixing up their coffee and it spilled in her lap and it gave her 3rd-degree burns. She had to have skin grafts on a large percentage of her body, including her entire genitals. Nerve damage. But what you get on late night is Jay Leno laughing at her. After that McDonald's location already knew for sure that coffee was too damn hot. That is one way that the PR is used. Why? Because they did not want to pass any laws. What they were trying to do is pass a law against consumers. this lobbying group wanted to pass a law that basically made it impossible to sue a big corporation whenever they maim you. Don't get me started. I did make a whole video about that on BJ Investigates. The whole McDonald's hot coffee situation. Yes, ma'am. Thanks so much to Black Lake for the $4.99 super chat. Distract everyone from more EP files coming out. She asked that? That's true? Savannah Guthrie was the one who asked Donald Trump, do you think the world is run by satanic PDF files? Oh, my Lord. I did not know that. That is crazy. I do know that her mom did not appreciate Donald Trump. I do know that her mom did not like him. But y'all know me. I try very hard to stay out of the right and the left. If I say something about the right, I try to say, in the left too. I really do think it's kind of like two cults at this point. But no, I did not know that. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for that $4.99. I'll have to look into that. Thank you to Misty Lewis becoming a new member. But speaking of the Epstein files, I do have a new video coming out on BJ Investigates in like 4 minutes, and it is about the Epstein files. It's about specifically that Zorro Ranch, the baby harvesting farm. What did I call that one? Designer baby mill, designer baby ranch, I think. So I do have a video on the Zorro Ranch coming out, and I had found some other Epstein stuff just to give y'all a little bit of what's to come. Wayfair. Put a 2 in the chat if you're excited. I'm covering Wayfair. We're going to be BJ Investigates Epstein Files series with Wayfair. I have been looking through some of the items that he had purchased and the payment agreements, and one such payment was $8,400, not 84,000. Let's see what else. Spirit cooking. I'm going to be making a video about spirit cooking and Marina Abramovich and its relation to the Epstein files. What else? Melania Trump is in the Epstein files. I told y'all, I don't pick sides. And tonight, actually, sorry, I lied. Tonight is Jeffrey Epstein still alive? Tonight is Jeffrey still alive? That's tonight's video. That one's coming out in 3 minutes. And then the next one is going to be Zorro Ranch. So yeah, I am working on that. Don't you worry. Nancy's upper lip was also, Carmo. Oh my Lord. Let's find this Mall first, girl. Thank you for the £2 super chat. Poor thing. My adopted mom said I was found under a Cabbage Patch leaf. I mean, there's whole theories of that. They're all involved. BJ working. Yes, I am. Did Brittany sell her catalog? Apparently, but I'm not ready to talk about that yet. I'm not ready to talk about it. Yes, I do have jerky. I have a cannibalism one in the works. But the one that's coming out tonight is Jeffrey Epstein still alive? And then after that is going to be Zorro Ranch. Then I think after that, I also have a Michael Jackson video coming out soon. Like tentatively called Michael Jackson's Arranged Scientology Marriage from Hell. Yes, I do. Yeah, I know. Reality said with Brittany, I get so upset. I can't even talk about it. Somebody said he's still on the island. Well, is he or is he not? You're going to find out in 2 minutes on BJ Investigates. Kash Patel always looks like he saw a ghost. He might have. The Cabbage Patch tree thing is horrifying. I'm not scared of dolls, but I'm scared of whatever the hell that is. Oh my God, I need to know about the Cabbage Patch Kids. Holy crap, I had Cabbage Patch Kids. They're scary or something. I did a video on it. You can type in like ThatSurpriseWitness Cabbage Patch. ThatSurpriseWitness Cabbage Patch video, and I go over how they have like a tree and the tree gives birth. It's this place in Georgia. The tree gives birth. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Hobig 6050. Thank you for the $5. My chat G to the P to the T said there are 80 to 120 licensed rehab facilities in a 20-mile radius. That seems like a lot, right? Thank you for the $5 super chat. Yeah. The tree gives birth. Look, I mean, it does. Yeah. The tree lost me when it gave birth. Okay. There's like a nurse there. She clips the cord. There's fairies singing in the tree, lighting up. You get to name the Cabbage Patch. I kind of want to go one day, but like just for like the more, I definitely wouldn't bring a kid. Make sure you hit the like, please, on your way out. And if you stay where you are, If you stay where you are, you will or should be redirected to the Epstein BJ Investigates Is Jeffrey Epstein Still Alive video, which is coming out pretty much now. So those are on a different channel. It's called BJ Investigates. Yeah, but it's still me over there. Oh wow. Reality said I was an addict for like 15 years. I got clean in 2012. Congratulations. After a lot of trying. And I agree with everything you say. They did it to us on purpose. I listen, it's hard to deny. Okay, I'll see y'all in the chat at BJ Investigates. That's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Neither are opinions. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.